Total domination. That is the only way to describe what I foresee happening at UFC 304 in Manchester. I think Belala Muhammad, I think Tom Aspinall, I think Paddy Pimblett, all three of them are going to dominate their opponents. And I'm going to get into exactly how I think this is going to go down for each and every fight and each and every fighter. But before I do, if you wouldn't mind, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Helps with the algorithm, helps grow the channel. Let's get right into it. So let's start with Paddy the Baddy, Paddy Pimblett. Let's be honest, Bobby Green is, or I guess it's King Green now, is 37 years old. And I don't think there is any way he comes out of this fight with a win. Like, if Paddy's foolish enough to essentially keep the fight standing only, then Bobby Green certainly has a chance if it's something that kind of goes to a decision. However, I think Paddy the Baddy has much better grappling. I think he has the capability to take down Bobby Green and submit him. And Paddy the Baddy does have some KO power. He has some power behind those hands. So if he can land a couple good, clean shots, I think he puts out Bobby Green. What that means is that he will be ranked and his run for the title starts now, assuming the UFC renews his contract, which he has hinted at the fact that he might do something else, but I think that is a negotiating tactic for him to get a better payday, a better contract with the UFC so that his title, when he starts his title run, when he becomes ranked, you know, he's making more money to kind of go into those tougher fights. That's what I think is going to happen. Nevertheless, it's kind of a little bit off topic, but with Paddy the Baddy, I think that he's going to win by submission, and I just think he's going to be a bit too much for Bobby. And let's remember, like I said, Bobby is 37. I think Paddy is like 28 years old, right? And there is that statistic out there that basically once you hit above 35, like your chances of winning fights in the UFC goes down substantially. So I think we're going to see total domination from Paddy the Baddy. He's going to become finally ranked in the lightweight division, and the title run starts now. Tom Aspinall. I think Tom Aspinall is just far too much for Curtis Blaydes. I really do. So, like, Curtis Blaydes, his path to victory appears to be wrestling, right? But Tom Aspinall has some great grappling and some great jiu-jitsu, and the dude is so quick for a heavyweight. I think he's quick in general, but for a heavyweight, he's even quicker, right? And so I think what we're going to see is we're going to see a situation where Tom Aspinall, you know, finds the shot and puts out Curtis Blaydes and KOs him, right? I think that's what we're going to see. When it happens, I'm not entirely sure, but it wouldn't surprise me if it happens in the first or second round, right? I wouldn't even be surprised if this goes to a second round, right? Because I think what's going to happen is right off the gate, you know, they're going to size each other up, a little bit of this and that. I think Curtis Blaydes is going to try to go for a shot relatively early. And I think Aspinall is going to be able to stuff it, and I think Aspinall is going to be able to clip him on one of these entries or something like that. And I think he's going to defend his interim championship, or as John Anik has said, he's going to defend his undisputed heavyweight title. Now, if I'm wrong and Curtis Blaydes does come out of this on top, like, that'll be a pretty amazing feat. You know, super, super interesting about how that shakeup's going to go. And John Jones did say that he thinks Curtis Blaydes is going to win. But a lot of the time, you know, I feel like he's trying to manifest that so that the conversation about him versus Aspinall kind of goes away. You know, it's one of those things, right? Like, if Curtis Blaydes beats Aspinall, then there's no reason for John Jones to give him a second thought, right? But if Aspinall basically beats anyone and everyone in the heavyweight division, then either Jones is going to have to vacate the heavyweight belt and retire, or kind of say, all right, let's do this thing. Let me see what I can do to this guy, right? That's kind of where it is. And an interesting point that's been made is that if Aspinall wins against John Jones, like, it doesn't hurt Jones's legacy as much as he thinks, and as much as everybody else thinks, right? I forget who said this. I think it might have been Usman, but I'm not sure because they, basically the argument is that Jones is past his prime, right? Aspinall beat a past prime Jones. So like it doesn't count, right? Like it doesn't tarnish his legacy or his reputation or his GOAT status or any of that thing. Assuming you put him up there, right? So that's interesting to me as well. So that's neither here nor there. Nevertheless, I do think that Aspinall is coming out of this one on top. Lastly, let's look at Belal Muhammad. Now, I know a lot of you guys think I am absolutely crazy for saying this, but I think Belal Muhammad has a really good chance of completely and utterly dominating Leon Edwards. And here is the thing, right? Belal Muhammad on paper doesn't seem all that special. And yet he's on what, like a 9-fight win streak? Unbeaten streak, whatever the case may be. And almost every single one of his fights, he has been considered, I think, an underdog. There was no way he was supposed to get through Burns. There was no way he was going to beat Luque at the time. Everybody thought Sean Brady was going to steamroll him. Everybody thought Wonder Boy was going to knock him out. He has a pretty darn good resume. And I think one of the keys to Belal Muhammad's success, and one of the reasons why I think he may absolutely dominate Leon Edwards, is because he is a master of the game plan. I don't think there are very few other people, maybe John Jones, who are as good at game planning as Belal Muhammad, right? Like, he has this unique ability to take the fight to where his opponent is worst and where he's just slightly better. And I feel like that's what he's going to try to do at UFC 304. I think what he's going to try to do is take it to where Leon is worse. So, number one, I think that's a huge thing that he has going for him. I think another thing, and a lot of people discount this, but he has been training with Khabib and that whole Dagestani crew. And, obviously that doesn't guarantee you victory, but I feel like having someone like Khabib in your corner, doing camp with him, he's not going to let you quit. He's not going to let you take rounds off. He's not going to let you slack off. You know what I mean? And that might just give you the edge when it comes to the fight in and of itself. Now, in the striking realm, obviously, I think that Belal is completely outmatched. But I do think he has a wicked chin. Like, we can look back to their first fight, and Belal ate a head kick from Leon like it was nothing, right? And so I feel like what we're going to see a lot of from Belal is, just him marching forward, putting pressure on Leon, not giving him any space or any time to really pick his shots and be the precise precision sniper that he is. So I think that gives Belal another really good chance at winning. And I think that, lastly, his reason why he's fighting, right? Like, he's said this before, that his big thing is that he's a Palestinian fighter, right? And he's fighting for the people and the kids and the families and all that in Palestine. And whether you agree with the politics or not, I think he's really, internally and externally motivated by the fact that a lot of his people and relatives and family and people that he knows who are Palestinian are seeing their friends, family, relatives being bombed and blown to smithereens and, kids dying in the streets and all this other kind of stuff. And so I think that's going to give him an extra, push, right? Now, I will say there is a caveat to this, right? If Leon can keep the fight on the feet, and if Leon can, basically implement where he is strongest. Like, if Belal can't get it to where Leon is weak, he's in for a long night. Because I do think Leon has the better striking, but, it's one of these things. I think he has a really good chance. We did see Colby dominate Leon in that final round, you know what I mean, with wrestling. We did see in the first fight, Usman basically beat up Leon for a bunch of rounds with wrestling. So I think Belal can absolutely do it. I think Belal certainly has a chin that can take some of those bigger, heavier shots of Leon's. So we're going to see. We're going to see. But if Belal can get the fight to the ground, I think he's got a really good chance of dominating Leon and making it one of the, and I don't think it's going to be exciting, but I think it's going to be grappling heavy, long 50-45 type night for Leon Edwards, or for Belal Muhammad. If Belal could pull off what I think he could pull off, that's what I'm trying to say. That is what I am trying to say. So let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think that Leon's coming out on top? Do you think Belal's coming out on top? What do you think about the other fights? Let me know in the comments. Thank you guys for watching. We will see you next time.